once again found ourselves in the state of Arkansas. A place that is vastly underrated for its opportunities for explorers and adventure seekers. Join us as we travel through forests that we've never seen, routes that we've never driven, and obstacles that are some of our greatest challenges yet.
That boy.
It's been a few days since we've had a shower. At this other campsite that we have over here, there's a rope swing, and we didn't stay there because it was a little too muddy, and this is a much better fit campsite for this time of the year. But that is a cool rope swing over there, and I'm in the Ozarks, and I always feel like I need to swim here. So I've got a few volunteers to jump into the river with me across from here. It's gonna be cold, but it's gonna be fun, and then we'll be refreshed and definitely wide awake, and we will continue on with today wherever it's going to take us. The waters here are so blue and they're so beautiful, it's hard not to want to get in. And especially coming from Colorado, this water actually doesn't feel cold. So Sam and Susie are making us a farm fresh breakfast that is everything. It's even down to the bread is homemade. So we're gonna eat that here in just a minute, and then we're gonna pack up and we're gonna head over to the rope swing and jump in the water that nobody else will be jumping in today, just because the locals here are definitely not interested in swimming this time of the year. We've seen almost nobody here. It's been amazing.
Okay, you see any metal?
Oh.
What's it saying?
Wow.
Is it iron, maybe? Like a chunk of iron?
It does say iron on here, so maybe iron's just in it.
It could just be in the, just everywhere.
You can't find it in here.
Where's the treasure?
It's over here. It's over here.
Sam and Susie brought a mountain of food from the farm to make for everybody. And the only thing we needed to do to help was to set up the scuttle for them. I'll take that trade any day of the week.
So this bacon here that's from my sister-in-law's farm as well is called a Mangalese. And they're a pig. They have like long curly hair. But the really cool thing about them is since they're outside in the sun and all the food that they eat, they have high vitamin contents and they have a super high fat content. So like their pork steaks taste like beef, and their bacon has so much fat that it ends up being able to self-fry itself. So you get a deep fried bacon without having to supply any of your own stuff. And these pigs are actually quite recent, in the past couple hundred years, because before that they were reserved for royalty. So the royal family somewhere over in Europe or something like that wouldn't allow anyone else to eat them because they liked them so much. So they would have their people cultivate the pigs, butcher them, and only feed them to the royal family. So it never really caught on. So that's why you don't really see it over in the United States for a Mangalese. She sells them, so you can she'll do entire pigs or parts of pigs and stuff like that and carve them up, and then she has them butchered up from a USDA butcher and then has them sent out. They have a really cool setup up there that you can actually go and visit and look at your own food, that whatever she's growing, and you get to pick it all out and put it in your basket. Pretty cool.
If you didn't think bacon could get any better than it already is, you're just as wrong as I was. This stuff is on another level. We aren't sure if it's a rope swing or a zip line, but we're headed over to find out. and as soon as we can wash off a bit, we'll be back onto the trails.
Place is amazing.
Wow, that's cool.
Isn't it pretty?
So look at this rope swing goes off of a cable. Okay, so we are where we found our rope swing, but it doesn't look like it's been used since at least last year, so we got to swim out into this probably cold water. And we're hoping there's a pulley on it. We don't understand how this is exactly supposed to work, but I think everybody is now committed to jumping into the water. So hopefully it doesn't break. It's all we can hope for.
Oh, it does feel like Colorado.
No pulleys or fancy zip lines here, just a rope tied to a tow strap, tied to another rope, tied to a cable.
It hurts. It hurts.
And it makes us feel like kids again.
All right, bath time's over for me.
If it were summertime in optimal swimming temperatures, I'm not sure that I would have the motivation to leave this incredible campsite. For this trip though, we have more ground to cover and more to see.
I'm not entirely sure where we're headed, but we're heading north. Mark has somewhat of a rough plan going on, and we're heading into the area where the bonfire's happening, Bonfire of the Ozarks or whatever it's called, some other event, which I'm sure we'll see a bunch of other trucks, but we're not necessarily trying to participate in that. We're just trying to keep exploring. We jumped into the water to kind of shock our systems, and it definitely worked. I'm kind of cold now. I need to warm up a little bit.
I'm trying to dry my hair so I don't get cold later, but it was super shocking, but really refreshing.
Yeah, it's very refreshing.
Really refreshing.
Everybody that jumped in felt good about it. Something we're not used to is the poison ivy.
Yes.
We've lived around poison ivy before years ago when we lived in this general area, but we're not used to it anymore. In Colorado, you can just go through the woods, not worry about anything really.
Yeah, we're not so much worried about us stepping in it because we know what to look for and where not to step, but blue. And then blue's in our tent, which would then spread poison ivy to us. So we have to be so cautious about where blue's stepping.
I have not been off-roading here, so we should have a chance to find some new trails. But probably one of the most beautiful areas I've been to in Arkansas. 200 stars would go again.
Nice.
Awesome, sounds good.
Coming from the west, we're used to drought. Many of the plants and animals have evolved to conserve water. But here, where water is flowing around every turn, nature took a very different path.
Absolutely beautiful, and it makes me wish that we were here during the warm part of the year so we could actually swim, but that's not the case.
And last time Mark was here, he said that it was only a trickle. and that was swimming season. So it's a good swimming hole, but right now it's amazing waterfall.
Yeah, pretty epic.
So pro and con.
Very cool to see though.
Yeah.
You're not going to see a lot of, we see plenty of waterfalls in Colorado, but seeing that you can actually swim in this one, and this is just a natural swimming hole. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Dense forests, never-ending streams, and a hot, humid climate make this state ideal for a wide variety of wildlife. Alligators have been native for thousands of years, but their numbers have dwindled due to unregulated hunting. If they were still common here, it would truly feel like a Jurassic Park. It becomes quite obvious after spending some time here why it's called the natural state. It still feels wild because it is still wild, and I really hope that it stays this way for future generations.
So it seems like around every single bend, there's just some epic water feature. And I'm already wanting to come back in the warmer months. This was pretty as far as weather goes, but it leaves me wanting to spend more time in the water and almost do a tour just in a swimsuit and just come through here and get wet all day long, just spend time in the water, do some fishing. And this just isn't the time of the year for that. So I'm already thinking how I'm going to do this trip again. This is how I felt last time I was in Arkansas. Arkansas might be one of my favorite states for off-roading. It's absolutely incredible.
Everything in this state feels like it has life, and everywhere you look proves it.
It's like a giant jumping strike.
We have spent the day exploring and looking at beautiful scenery, but as the evening starts to set in, we need to think about finding a campsite. I saw this trail on Onyx Maps, and it looks like it could have some places that we could set up for the night, but it's also possible that it could be a total waste of our time. My Nitto Ridge grapplers are worn down to around 40%, which I can get away with in Colorado or Utah, but here it's a different story. And I would have got new tires before the trip, but tires aren't cheap. So I need to be careful with just how brave I am here. I'm hoping that if we get too bogged down, the Max Tracks or winch will get me out of a bind. We underestimated the mud and ruts that we could run into on this dark section of trail. The sun never gets a chance to help any of this evaporate, so it's quite a mess. We need to stop and assess if we can make it through, and if we can, if it's actually worth the trouble.
I don't know if we can
I don't know about this.
get through this, huh?
This is mega gnarly. That side's the worst. So
this side is not very,
no, yeah, that side's impossible for us.
And this side doesn't look good either.
No, that does not look good.
Yeah, that's
Holy sh!
that's tippy business.
don't even know how deep
This
it
is
right there.
that isn't the worst. That's not even the worst because you can get a tire down, you start to level out. But this.
Yeah.
So we're gonna walk farther down the trail just because this is so gnarly that we're not entirely sure we can get through there. Just because we have heavy roof loads and stuff, and we're trying to weigh if it's actually worth it to go through the trouble of possibly either rolling or causing some trail damage, either way.
Or death.
Poison stuff I have to worry about.
I know, if we don't have poison ivy yet, we might get it. It is raining, so now the mud is gonna be muddier. Fantastic.
Okay, now we're starting to bend. Who's gonna haul up the trail a bit? Alright.
Did you guys lose the shoe?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good.
True muddin'.
Oh yeah.
Look.
You gonna do it again? You gonna go through the mud again?
You can't lose your other boot?
So I jogged all the way down, and I'm not sure if it's worth it or not, because I got to a point in the trail where it opens up to the river, but it climbs immediately after that. I don't know how far it goes. It might be a situation where we have to turn around. We don't know if the trail actually connects, because what we found on the maps was that the trail goes to one point, it stops, and then there's a big open section, and then the trail continues somewhere else. And I'm not sure if Onyx does that because maybe it's too high to cross during certain times of the year, so they just leave that part out. I'm not sure if the risk associated with that spot back there is worth it, just because, not that the vehicle will tip over, but we could have vehicle damage from it rolling into the side of a hill. So, not sure that's worth it. We'll have to talk to everybody and see what they want to do.
Is there any like dispersed camping? Would it, like, be
It was like super low, like it'd be like camping in this. Like there's a spot for one vehicle.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if the risk associated is there.
Yeah.
For the value for risk.
Do we got time to go up to the other?
I think
start
so.
driving to the other one?
Yeah. We can cover ground too because we're aired down, so we can haul.
Yeah.
Let's do it. All right, let's do that
as well.
All right, we're breaking out of here.
Maybe we could get past this off-camber mud pit with a little bit of anxiety and work, but the camping is questionable, and it's possible it turns into a dead end soon. Trying to turn around and head back to the main trail, we are certainly realizing that we are making the right call.
Deeper than we anticipated.
I watched it cover your entire front wheel.
While we have gone through a little bit of mud on this trip, it hasn't been anything like this. This is the kind of mud that can significantly derail your plans.
Just make sure you floor it rather than hitting your brakes at all.
Copy. We've also shifted everyone to my side, so we got 400 pounds leaning the other way.
boxes checked. The water crossing now. Gotta get the water crossing.
You want to put that
How was that, Jonathan?
All right, so that trail is not going to work out. We're going to head out and find something else because those mud pits, the ones that we were first worried about, those were going to be a big problem, and we didn't even know how deep the one right in front of us was. It had like a false bottom on it. If there would have been an epic campsite at the end of that, right on the river, big spot for everybody, that kind of thing, maybe I would have dealt with it, but
I'm not sure that we could have gotten all those vehicles through that really gnarly spot, though, with how sinky that mud was.
So sinky.
It was bad, though.
Yeah.
And going back was even, because we had all gone through it one time, was even worse.
It was even more sinky.
It was even more sinky. Super sinky.
So yeah, once everybody's ready here, we're gonna haul up the trail, and we are on the Ozark Overland Trail because Onyx didn't have much in this area, so I fired Gaia back up, and I have a bit of a few maps downloaded, and I can see the Ozark Overland Trail, so I am now following that. I try to do our own thing as often as we can, but in this situation, we're here, and I can't see any other trails, so this is our last day, basically. We're gonna have to head back tomorrow night towards Colorado. So for right now, we're just hauling up this. We wanna do a water crossing. We've not done the water crossing that we're looking for. So we were told by a Jeeper that there's a water crossing up here, so we're going specifically for that. But at this point, it's getting late, 6:30 almost. We're just really looking for a campsite. I don't even know if we're gonna do this trail today. We'll see.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. I guess we'll see how far we get down it.
Yeah.
Hopefully we find something.
You start.
Hopefully we find something good, though.
Yeah.
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 Shortly after pushing forward, we are so glad that we did. The mud we just collected in our skid plates will be cleaned out by this beautiful river crossing, and also checks another trip goal off the list. Slick Rock is part of Utah, 13,000 foot passes are part of Colorado, and water crossings are part of Arkansas. From the time we woke up, today has been more than we could have asked for. An incredible meal to start our morning, a river plunge to start our souls, waterfalls to start our inspiration, and a muddy trail to start our anxiety. The one last thing that we need is a campsite. The surprisingly few that we have come by have been taken, and the last open options we saw are hours behind us. We need to push forward and see what's ahead, and as the sun starts to fall, we're running out of options. But just when we thought today was close to completion, another challenge presents itself. We stopped and talked as a group about our options here. We either backtrack for hours or we push through the deepest water crossing we have ever been faced with. But it's not that simple. There's one more deep crossing beyond this, and it's mandatory. A group of land cruisers we spoke with told us that there is amazing open camping past the first crossing. The trick is that if we don't cross both rivers tonight, the forecasted 1 inch of rain that we are previously unaware of could leave us stranded for 24 hours or more. Collectively, we've decided to challenge our trucks, our mods, and ourselves. We're pushing forward.
Okay, we're doing the super deep water crossing.
We're doing a super deep water crossing.
And
that's recording? Okay.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's beautiful light, but it's dark. Ooh, a little scary.
All right, everybody ready?
Copy, we're going one at a time.
Yes, sir. Okay, here we go.
Never done a water crossing this deep before? Oh yeah, she's coming up. Ooh, it's up to the headlights. Actually, I think it's over the headlights. It is over the headlights. Oh man.
All right, give me just a second so I can jump out and set up the tripod real fast, of course. Constant, steady speed.
A river crossing like this involves more risk than just water in the engine. We made sure to turn off all 110 volt battery packs and inverters to avoid potential electrocution, but it doesn't stop there. If something mechanically does fail, it quickly becomes a scary situation. For us, it would be getting blue out of the back of the FJ before it floods, and for Sam and Susie, it would be getting their children out.
You want him to back up a little more? Or?
No, if we need it, by the time I get to your winch, he'll be backed up. Hey, stay in there just in case you need to back up.
Mark is facing even more anxiety than the rest of us. His Land Rover is the least modified vehicle in the group, and he doesn't have lockers. So in the event that he has any issues, I'm ready to run into the water and hook up a winch to pull him out as fast as possible.
Atta boy. Nicely done.
She's okay. I got to check on that. Heard some beeps, but I think it was just the suspension.
I need to check before we get moving too. My locker's stuck on.
Oh, okay.
She's bone dry by the intake.
I would never take a crossing like this lightly, but in this situation, we all made it through safely, and aside from the Jeep having a minor hiccup, we're good to go.
We did it. That was intimidating.
I'm just gonna keep my wet stuff on since we got another one.
The Jeep won't shift into gear or engage the lockers after going through the river, so we are taking a look to make sure no damage occurred while crossing.
What's going on here?
So it will not go into drive or reverse. Thinking more about Jeep transmission actuators. I bet it just needs a few thumps. Maybe if there's some sort of a code that happened, I wonder if shutting it off.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can you turn it off, turn it back on?
Power cycle it.
What's up with the old girl?
We'll go into gear.
How's your vehicular, Mark?
She looks good. Dry, quiet.
No, it doesn't even go into
That's
reverse.
good.
Yeah.
The locker light disappeared. I'm probably just missing like a button combination or something.
Is it not like freaking out?
She's shifting.
Oh.
There's some.
Oh yeah.
He's back in the game. All right, let's do
Have
this.
you tried turning it off and on again? It's always there.
Let's go. We could camp at the sandbar. It's just if it rains, it depends how high the sandbar is. We don't want to be waking up in water.
Right. Okay, so we're in a situation where we just went through this water crossing. It's later than we anticipated. And so we're gonna be at an epic campsite here pretty quick from what some other travelers told us. But the downside is that we're supposedly getting 1 inch of rain tonight. And if that happens, we could be stuck in between 2 rivers. So our choices are to either camp and take the risk of possibly being stuck from a lot of rain because the water level will go up, of course, or we cross another deep river in the dark. And either way is not really the best situation, but that's what we got. So we got to really talk with the group and figure out what the best course of action here is, because we have kids with us
and it's risky either way if something does go wrong. So anyway, we're gonna get on the radios and discuss all that and kind of figure out what our game plan is gonna be. Crossing a river in total darkness has its risks, but the greater danger is camping between two flooded rivers. Perhaps if it were daylight and we could see the remote bluff camping, we could be convinced, but instead we are surrounded by darkness. The safer option here is to keep moving.
I don't know if this is the spot to cross or if...
Well, I mean, it is a river cross.
This is where the trail is.
Yeah, and he said it's less deep, at least where he did, than that. He said that other one was worse than this one.
Since it's dark, I'm gonna have to just walk across this.
Yeah.
I'll walk across it, and if it's good, maybe we can just set up right here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be really fun.
Yeah. About waist deep, I can see the rocks.
So yeah, so this is even, he had to have crossed over at that other spot. Because the trail we took also wasn't as well ran as the one to the left.
So the only difference here is the difference on this one is they're bigger rocks, I think. So you don't want to haul too much. You might hit a rock and boom, like that. So just, I mean, keep a steady pace still, but...
Do you want me to leave the locker off because of the problem I had before? Or do you want
I wouldn't. I'd turn it on. Yeah. I mean, you don't need it. I doubt you need it, but...
So, less deep than the last one?
Less deep.
Less deep. More bugs.
The difference with this river is instead of fine gravel, it's large rocks. So every time you move over a rock, the river moves you ever so slightly with the current. But because it's not as deep as the last crossing, it feels like a breeze. Finally, it's time to find a place to set up camp. I think we found a different spot than those guys were mentioning. There's a gravel bar there, but there's just too many bugs.
It was so buggy. I mean, just...
There's some in here right now.
Yeah, it's buggy in here now. It's littered with bugs, so we had to get away from the river. We're looking for a camping spot now. And we're excited to have some calm down sodas.
Yeah, we're definitely ready for that. Okay, so tonight we got in super late because we did cross a bunch of rivers and stuff. This is no affiliate thing whatsoever. This is Aspen Valley Farm. We actually found these at the Moore Expo, and these are freeze-dried meals, and they're much higher end. As you can see, these are like 18 bucks a pop, and like I said, we did pay full price for these. We saw that these guys were out of Colorado. These ladies were out of Colorado, so we bought these for an instance that we needed a quick meal. Aspen Valley Farms in Evergreen, Colorado, and I will put a link below for you guys to check these things out. No affiliate links, nothing like that. We're in kind of a park where there's a bunch of other people camping around us. I think they're going to the bonfire. It seemed like there's a lot of rooftop tents and stuff. Not entirely sure what's going on there. But anyway, we're doing these freeze-dried meals tonight, and it's gonna serve well. Having this type of a meal is nice for this situation, so this is why I usually like to carry this kind of a thing, and we didn't on this trip. We found these at the Moore Expo, and so it worked out really well.
Yeah, I'm excited about it because it's vegan.
Yeah.
I'm usually just vegetarian, but either way, vegan's amazing. I'm super excited about it also because it's mashed potatoes and gravy.
But it's pouring rain, and so anyway, we're kind of fighting that now. So we've got our awnings made it up as close as we were willing to get them for tonight. Too much work. We've been driving forever, way longer than we anticipated.
But anyway, we're gonna get started cooking dinner, and then it'll probably be time for bed before too long.
Yeah.
It's like 10 o'clock.
At nighttime, because then the kids will be sleeping.
We are discussing the adventures of today and the possible adventures for tomorrow, but the reality is everyone needs to head their separate ways in the morning to report back to the places that fund these incredible trips. On the last night of a long trip, nobody wants to admit that our real lives start again soon. We spend this time in nature because it feels right. It feels familiar, and it feels like we should have been here all along. And while Blue doesn't have any schedule to keep, the rest of us do. And because of that, it's time to call it a day. Yesterday was long, amazing, and full of challenges. And last night was filled with banging thunder and angry babies. Everyone here is feeling a little sleep deprived, and we are all moving a little slow. Doing a suspension check and airing up the tires is the last step before we all head our separate ways. And even the unappreciated passenger of this trip, our headlight spider, has decided that it's time to say farewell.
And Fluffy, he's pretty cute actually.
Okay, so we're all getting ready to leave. We had to stay in basically like a typical campground last night just because we were out of options. There were no camping areas north of here, and we're going to be driving into the night, so we just set up. It wasn't too bad, but everybody's got to take off from here. Sam and Susie are heading back to St. Louis. We are heading to Eureka Springs to meet up with another friend, Mark's wife, and then later tonight we need to go towards Colorado to cover some ground so we can be back in time tomorrow for some other stuff. So anyway, we're packing up now. The rain seems to be over, and we're going to make our way back home slowly.
Our goal for Arkansas was to have a new experience, and there is no doubt that we got exactly that. But I'm already wondering how soon can we come back for more. This place never disappoints, and we hope that the next adventure through these beautiful forests provides the same level of freedom, the same density of adventure, and an equal appreciation of our fleeting time. As always, thank you so much for watching, and feel free to check out my other adventure, off-road, and overland related content.